So what often happens on an IB exam is you get a question and they want you to either show it equals something or they give you a form. So in this case, we've got a function x minus 2 over x minus 1 squared, and they want it in this form. So something minus x over x minus 1 to the n. Now, you won't be able to go directly from this question to the answer right away. But what you do is you start and say, well, if I wanted to find my derivative, could I do that? And what would that look like? Well, in this case, h of x is a quotient, so I would start with my quotient rule. How does my quotient rule look? I keep the bottom the same, multiply by the derivative of the top, and then I subtract, keep the top the same, multiply by the derivative of the bottom. The derivative of the bottom, bring the 2 out in front, subtract 1 from the exponent. It's not a chain rule. Well, it could be a chain rule, but what's the derivative of my inside function? Is just 1. I could put that there. I wouldn't need to because multiplying by 1 doesn't make a difference. And then the quotient rule says whatever was on the bottom, square it. So I had x minus 1 squared. I would now have x minus 1 to the 4. Okay, so now we've done the derivative. It doesn't quite look like the form yet. The bottom looks pretty good because the bottom is in x minus 1 to a power, but the top has a whole bunch of extra stuff. So how can I adjust the top? What could I do? Well, I can multiply things out. But before I do that, one thing that is going to come up often is there's going to be something that can be factored out. So if I look at my two terms here, can you see on the top I have this term minus this term? And in those two terms, there is something in common. There is an x minus 1 in the first term, and there is an x minus 1 in the second term. If you can recognize that early and factor it out, it's going to save you a lot of time. Because the other option is to multiply everything out and then factor again. But if you can recognize that you can factor something out early, in other words, I see there's an x minus 1, what would be left in my first term? There would be one x minus 1 left. What would be left in my second term? There's still a 2 and an x minus 2. So factoring that out, well, that also means that one of these x minus 1s will cancel with one of these x minus 1s on the bottom. And what I'm left with on top, x minus 1 minus 2x will give me a negative x, a negative 1, plus 4 will be plus 3, x minus 1 cubed. If I rewrite this as 3 minus x, I've now written it in the form that they were looking for. Something minus x over x minus 1 to the n. So in this case, our a value is 3, and our n value happens to be 3 as well. So in these questions that ask for a certain form, or sometimes they'll say show that, you'll see this exact same question that says show that h prime of x is equal to 3 minus x over x minus 1 cubed. Again, you start with what you know. How would I take the derivative of this? Then it's just algebraic manipulation. It's almost like a proof where you're trying to manipulate things to make it look in the same form that's been given to you.